mathematically certain. Key members of the Seven were linked with the Taoist CAOA. They found their lives to be in danger when the avowedly Confucian Jin dynasty came to power. They wrote Taoist poems criticizing the court and the administration, and manuals on Taoist mysticism and Feng Shui left square bracket citation needed right square bracket. It would be a mistake to assume that all members had similar views, however, and while some members tried to negotiate their difficult political positions by self-consciously adopting the roles of ale-fueled pranksters and eccentrics, others eventually capitulated and joined the Jin dynasty, most notably Wan Ran. Although it is unknown how much they personally engaged in hinting, they became the subjects of it themselves in the Shishnozinai, Chinese, a new account of the tales of the world. As is traditionally depicted, the group wished to escape the intrigues, corruption and stifling atmosphere of court life during the politically fraught Three Kingdoms period of Chinese history. They gathered in a bamboo grove near the house of Zaifeng, Akajifeng, in Shanghai, now in Henan province, where they enjoyed, and praised in their works, the simple, rustic life. This was contrasted with the politics of court. The seven sages stressed the enjoyment of personal freedom, spontaneity and a celebration of nature. The duality of ancient India's Saptarishis are the hierarchy working under the guidance of the highest creative intelligence, God. The present batch of the Saptarishis, Ritu, Etri, and Virasa, Vasishti, Ulastaya, Ulalabet and Kretu, they bring down to the earth the required knowledge and energies to strengthen the processes of transition, Pralaya. They are naturally the most evolved light beings in the creation and the guardians of the divine laws. The seven rays are said to be seven major types of light substance, spirit/matter, waves/particles that compose the created universes. The seven rays locally originate within the solar logos, that is, the consciousness of the divine being of the sun. They have their ultimate origin within the mind of God. Each of the seven rays is believed to be associated with a different kind of occult energy, and a different color. Their symbol is the rainbow. The number 7 is known in the inner circle as the sacred number 7. Let us expand more your knowledge about this number. Deity functions on personal, prepersonal, and superpersonal levels. Total deity is functional on the following 7 levels. 1. Static self-contained and self-existent deity. 2. Potential self-will and self-purpose of deity. 3. Associated self-personalized and divinely fraternal deity. 4. Creative self-distributed and divinely revealed deity. 5. Evolutional self-expansive and creature-identified deity. 6. Supreme self-experiential and creator unifying deity. Deity functioning on the first creature identificational level, as time-space over-controllers of the grand universe, sometimes designated the supremacy of deity. 7. Ultimate self-projected and time-space transcending deity. Deity omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Deity functioning on the second level of unifying divinity expression as effective over-controllers and absonite upholders of the master universe. As compared with the ministry of the deities to the grand universe, this absonite function in the master universe is tantamount to universal over-control and super-sustenance, sometimes called the ultimacy of deity. When we attempt to conceive of perfection in all phases and forms of relativity, we encounter 7 conceivable types. 1. Absolute perfection in all aspects. 2. Absolute perfection in some phases and relative perfection in all other aspects. 3. Absolute, relative, and imperfect aspects in varied association. 4. Absolute perfection in some respects, imperfection in all others. 5. Absolute perfection in no direction, relative perfection in all manifestations. 6. Absolute perfection in no phase, relative in some, imperfect in others. 7. Absolute perfection in no attribute, imperfection in all. The 7 interpretations of the word God. 1. God the Father and Creator, Controller, and Upholder. The Universal Father, the first person of deity. 2. God the Son and Coordinate Creator, Spirit Controller, and Spiritual Administrator. The Eternal Son, the second person of deity. 3. God the Spirit and Joy Actor, Universal Integrator, and Mind Restorer. The Infinite Spirit, the third person of deity. 4. God the Supreme and the Actualizing or Evolving God of Time and Space. Personal deity associatively realizing the time-space experiential achievement of creature-creator identity. The Supreme Being is personally experiencing the achievement of deity unity as the evolving and experiential God of the evolutionary creatures of time and space. 5. God the sevenfold and deity personality anywhere actually functioning in time and space. The personal paradise deities and their creative associates functioning in and beyond the borders of the central universe and power personalizing as the Supreme Being on the first creature level of unifying deity revelation in time and space. This level, the grand universe, is the sphere of the time-space descension of paradise personalities in reciprocal association with the time-space ascension of evolutionary creatures. 6. God the ultimate the eventuating God of supertime and transcended space. The second experiential level of unifying deity manifestation. God the ultimate implies the attained realization of the synthesized absonite superpersonal, time-space transcended, and eventuated experiential values, coordinated on final creative levels of deity reality. 7. God the absolute the experientializing God of transcended superpersonal values and divinity meanings, now existential as the deity absolute. This is the third level of unifying deity expression and expansion. On this supercreative level, deity experiences exhaustion of personalizable potential, encounters completion of divinity, and undergoes depletion of capacity for self-revelation to successive and progressive levels of other personalization. Deity now encounters, impinges upon, and experiences identity with the unqualified absolute. The 7 Hermetic principles, upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based, are as follows. 1. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental, and the 5 alien. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlying all the outward manifestations and appearances which we know under the terms of the material universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and, in short, all that is apparent to our material senses is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, infinite, living mind. It also explains that all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe, as a whole, and in its parts or units, has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. 2. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below, as below, so above. This principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words, as above, so below, as below, so above. And the grasping of this principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and hidden secret of nature. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them we are able to understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. This principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe, and as it is a universal law. 3. The principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest, facts which modern science endorses, and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. And yet this Hermetic principle was enunciated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt. This principle explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration. 4. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and like are the same, opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree, extremes meet, all truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes may be reconciled. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual, everything has two poles, everything has its pair of opposites, all of which were old Hermetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows: thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree, opposites are the same, differing only in degree, the pairs of opposites may be reconciled, extremes meet, everything is and isn't, at the same time, all truths are but half-truths, every truth is half false, there are two sides to everything, etc., etc., etc. It explains that in everything there are two poles, or opposite aspects, and that opposites are really only the two extremes of the same thing, with many varying degrees between them. 5. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows, out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. This principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, to and fro, a flow and inflow, a swing backward and forward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow, a high tide and low tide, between the two poles which exist in accordance with the principle of polarity described a moment ago. There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking. This is in the affairs of the universe, suns, worlds, men, animals, mind, energy, and matter. 6. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to a law, that nothing ever merely happens, that there is no such thing as chance, that while there are various planes of cause and effect, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. The Hermetists understand the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane they become causers instead of effects. 7. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything, and the masculine and feminine principles ever at work. This is true not only of the physical plane, but of the mental and even the spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes it takes higher forms, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental or spiritual, is possible without this principle. It will now be apparent why so much stress is laid upon the study of symbols, and why students are urged to ponder and meditate upon the cosmic and systemic signs. It prepares them for the grasp and inner retention of the symbols and formulas which embody the knowledge whereby they can eventually work. These formulas are based upon 9 symbols which are now recognized: the cross in its varying forms, the lotus, the triangle, the cube, the sphere and the point, 8 animal forms: the goat, the bull, the elephant, the man, the dragon, the bear, the lion, and the dog, the line, certain signs of the zodiac, hence the need for the study of astrology, the cup, or the Holy Grail. Zelda's Skyward Sword theme song opener played in reverse is Zelda's Lullaby. The song I just taught you has some mysterious power. Only royal family members are allowed to learn this song. Remember, it will help to prove your connection with the royal family. Mentioned as Zelda's Lullaby is a recurring song in the Legend of Zelda series. It is usually associated with Princess Zelda and considered to be her personal theme. The song is slightly altered in most later games in the series, usually playing during scenes focusing on Zelda directly. The notes for the song, as they appear in the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, may be a reference to the shape of the Triforce. If each triangle is viewed as pointing outwards from left to right, they resemble the 3 triangles of the Triforce. Hyperborea equals hero.